Hello and welcome to the Theory of Thing Investment Podcast. My name is James Whelan, Managing Director of Barclay Pierce Capital's Asset Management Team, and I'm joined by Heath Moss of HLM Investments, all the way from South Australia. How are you now, Heath?
Very well, thanks, mate. Good morning. Hope you're well. School holidays here in South Australia, so kids are running around and making as much noise as possible.
Yep.
So you may hear that in the back of the podcast, but yeah,
Same thing here, man. I got my
yep,
little people that are around here as well.
yep.
My eldest daughter, at the beautiful age of 14, she came down, had breakfast, and I think she's gone back to bed. I,
As they do,
or
as
she's
teenagers do.
studying, or she's studying. Either way.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, no worries at all. And so there you go. Okay, thank you all for joining us today on this one. So I've got people coming
Mm.
up on the chat group. I'm trying to organise. It's herding cats. Sometimes these guys, they're good guys. I'm trying to find a former footballer, a former NRL player. We have a host of them who are friends of Barclay Pierce Capital,
Mm.
and I'm trying to organise one of them to just to stop in and give us
I
a hand
saw
chatting.
I saw Farah. Was it Farah on Ausbiz the other day?
Yep.
Spooking his new role in that. So that was really good.
We're so proud of this move that he's
Mm.
made to come and
Mm.
head up the athlete wealth management. We're trying to having an argument about that apostrophe, whether it's necessary or not. Athlete wealth management business that we've got on that side, i.e., just being
Hmm.
the conduit between people who are in that transition phase from professional to non-professional, that post game situation. So it's yeah. Anyway, it is good. It's perfect for him. He does talk the language, and we proved that the other day with the final piece in the Back Jimmy Challenge, which was that the big game of touch football that we had that also coincided with the launch of everything that I've spent the last year building,
Mm.
the platform, the fund that we have that sits on the side of these as well that is along that. So we've got the athletes fund, the elite opportunities fund that sits sort of separate to what we're doing, but it's able to take money now, which is fantastic. We've got the platform, everything. And so we decided to have a footy match and a couple of beers afterwards and went out. And so all of that work that I've been doing, and I have legitimately been dedicating a fair chunk of my life to it, thinking that no matter what, I mean, you should work on your fitness as well. But I've been out
Yep.
learning the game, learning some moves, doing drills. I mean, Chris Lawrence has been on the show, and he was out with me a few times working on sprints, speed, everything that I've been doing. I've been in the gym 3, sometimes 4 times a week for the last few weeks.
Mm.
Um, not drinking as nearly as much as I would usually consume. Went for a few weeks off just to work on the skills, just to keep your mind focused and sharp and get your health up. Everything, all of that, all done. All the advertising that we'd done for it, everything that was there. I get onto the field, warm up fine, everything was fantastic. About a minute and a half in, my ankle just goes like it had been a pre-existing sort of a small thing that I'd picked up in the gym on the Saturday, thinking no, it's fine, I'll just tape it up
Yep.
and it'll be good to go. And it was just like something about running backwards. It just went annoyingly. All that we'd worked at, because I'm out there and it's sort of like you've got Jonathan Thurston there, Wendell Sailor lined
Winnie
up
the Sailor.
directly
Yep.
opposite
Beautiful.
me, and he's looked at me and he's just gone, "They've told me I need to hurt you, James." I'm just going, "Well,
And you're like, I'll do that
Dell,
myself.
Dell, mate, Dell, Dell, mate." He said, "I don't break a promise. They told me I need to hurt you today, James." He's like, "It's touch football." He said, "You're gonna get touched." So anyway,
Yeah.
you've got these guys. I mean, Thurston. I mean, so former players. These guys have got the worst case of white line fever you could possibly imagine. The whistle
Oh yeah.
goes, and they are back playing grand final football. These guys,
Yep.
it's incredible. And so something about just running back. I was nervous and sort of out of position and trying to get myself set where I need to be. Like the first time I've ever played a competitive game of football at any level, touch football or other.
Hmm.
Um, it's so anyway. So the annoying thing is that I copped a spray from Robbie, who is the captain of our squad. So Robbie Farah has given me an absolute serve for being out of position once. I can imagine that was all
Yep.
right. So as what are you gonna? You can't say anything, right? He's the captain of the team. I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, all right. He's screaming at me. Getting back on there. I'm just like, I can't go backwards. My ankle was just busted,
Yep.
and so I was out of position. Anyway, there was a gap that opened up. I'd moved with my man. I believe that I'd done the right thing. Someone came through, scored a try against us, and Thurston and I mean, mates, and I'd briefed him before. I said, mate, there's going to be a lot of banter. I'm going to say a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And sort of the night before, I said, mate, it's not going to. Oh, I'm not going to not going to say anything offensive, but if I call you this and this and this, it's not going to piss you. He said, mate, you can call me whatever you want. Go well. Good luck out there. Anyway, the gap opened up. Someone's gone through for a try, and Thurston has just gone right there. James Whelan, and he's just started pointing at me and screaming, Jimmy Whelan is the gap. That's where the gap is, boys. And he's just started screaming this out there, and my mouth has lost its connection to the brain. I was incapable of speech. Incapable of speech about it. If you cop a serve from one of the greatest of all time at full volume, right in front of you, in front of all those people, absolute custard.
I bet.
Limped off the field. So anyway, that was the minutes that I have. I could not fight the injury. I tried as hard as I could. I just it was just the guys just so changed. If you keep running on that, even if you could run on that, it's probably going to be a permanent injury. So
yeah,
anyway, I did what I had to do and sat on took an important bench position, and supported the team from the sidelines. But it was a great day. Thank you everyone for coming out.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was good. We sunk a bunch of beers afterwards. And I'll pull up a photo at the end of it of one of us at the restaurant at the end of it. We went to the Blue Angel, to just us and a few other people that had sponsored the day. Incredible restaurant, that one as well. So it was good. Anyway, mate, so that's the highlight of my week. So aside from that, and all of that work that we've done, sort of, yeah, just I feel a little bit hollow with the effort. All right. Anyway, I'm going to dump a wakey. I've got the magnesium one today.
I've forgotten mine.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna put mine in.
Go for it.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us, and thanks for the pain away was actually quite helpful on my ankle, and it's been quite helpful around. So that stuff really does work, and the wakey has really kept me going for this time. So thank you very much for them and everything that they've done, mate. Aside from that, how was your week?
Nowhere near as exciting as yours. I've been knee deep or neck deep in SOAs and client work. Presented to a new client yesterday. That was really good, very positive. I've got to start another SOA today. For some reason, I mean, you get these periods where you get these new clients or old clients that need new stuff done, and you get all these SOAs you got to do all at once, and then you have a barren period, and then it all comes again. And so I'm going through one of those periods where got quite a bit of work on that I'm trying to get through, and that's about it. Like, kids are on holidays. We haven't done anything. It's been a quiet one. I think we told the kids it's going to be a quiet one these holidays leading up into Christmas next holidays. We're doing something on the weekend. We're going on Sunday. We're going to the Monado Zoo, the safari park here in South Australia.
Ooh.
And we're doing the lion experience, the lion cage 360 experience. So you go in this little cage, this dome, and they get the lions to come up with big chunks of meat.
Yeah.
And they lay all over the cage, and you're like a foot away from them. These lions being fed by the trainers and stuff like that. You
feel like you're being your meat?
Yeah. They're looking at it. We tried to do it last year. Tried to do it last year because I got it as a present for birthday or Christmas a couple of years ago, and we tried to do it last year, but they wouldn't. We did the afternoon session, they wouldn't come, and they said, they came during the morning session. Generally, morning session is a little bit better, so they gave us another voucher, and we're hooking it up and doing the early morning session, so they're nice and hungry, and but you gotta be careful because they do tend to wee on you. So.
Oh yeah, they are territorial. Big cats territorial. That leg will get lifted. That leg will get lifted pretty quickly.
Yep. So we will see. I'll have to report next week how it went, and if we got a photo or something, I'll share it. But that will be my Sunday. I'll be doing that on Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that.
All right, mate. Really well done. Really well done. That does sound like my experience out at Dubbo Zoo was one of it was just post COVID. Out there, I remember we were out there going looking, and we went to go and see the lions because you got to see the lions, and they're out there. They're just lounging around rocks. I don't know what people were expecting them to be doing. They're not juggling. They're just in their habitat. They're just resting, right? They're relaxing. Yeah. What if someone came past and saw me? You're just going to see me sitting at a computer typing and being distracted by Instagram is my usual schedule over the day.
And icing your ankle.
Keep my ankle up for now. Anyway, so.
But yeah. Monado is really, really good. If you ever come to South Australia, those who want to come here, I encourage you to go to Monado too, especially next year. There's going to be I think a 6-star hotel open up, and we're getting elephants and more rhinos and hippos, and it's a proper. You sit on a bus and you drive through the different areas of the park, and it's a proper safari experience. Like one time we had like a giraffe coming up and licking the window of the bus. It was that
That's pretty
close.
cool.
It's just phenomenal,
They got
and the
those
kids
crazy
love it.
big. They got those
Yeah.
crazy big blue tongues. Hey.
Yeah, yeah. So it's phenomenal. It's a really good experience. I've never been and not had a good time. So
That's brilliant.
yeah.
And I was reminded of the Queen. No, actually, I don't want to surprise. I don't want to spoil, but if you can tell me which state this guy's from, then you're winning. When we're at there, Dubbo, look at the Lions, and I'm there and just go, oh, cool Lions, great. And this guy's just there, and he said to his kids, just going, what's the point of this? I could see Lions on the TV, and he said, come on, kids, we're going.
Oh,
Now,
what?
what color hat do you think he was wearing? It was either blue or maroon. Do you think
I think given where you're from, Maroon.
he was a Queenslander at Dubbo Zoo who was like, "What's the point of seeing lions here? I could see them on the TV. Come on, kids, we're going." And I think they went to go and find some more exciting animals.
Those poor kids.
Queenslander, mate. So that's it. Look, I got my new guys started. Unfortunately, we lost Will, advisor to the Stars.
Yep.
He's just going to follow his heart somewhere else. And so I've got new starter Chris. Chris is who's learning the ropes, which is handy. So new staff is hard.
It's challenging.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, Will was a hell of a guy and a hell of a picker, which was fantastic. He just went to a completely different part of the industry. Not a competitor, not anything. He's just gone, I just want to go somewhere else.
Fair enough.
Nothing to do with us. I did the full exit interview and everything. I was just like, come on, man, let's go. I'm a human resource manager by degree.
Yep.
I wanted to see like a full assessment, see if we'd had stuffed anything up. He said, no, just genuinely, my heart is not in it here anymore. So okay, nothing worse than keeping someone on who doesn't want to be there. So go well, and I hope he does. I hope he does go well, which is great. And the new guy's fantastic. Young Chris managed to get him. I was chasing someone who wants to run through walls because that's what we have to do right now.
Yep.
Found the guy that wants to run through walls, and a rich rugby history as well. Mate, we put him straight onto the Barbarians team on Wednesday. So can you imagine that a couple of days into the job and someone's just like, yeah, we need to come out and play football.
Line up against former Australian
Jonathan Thurston against the boss. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
The experience is good. And I did mention to him, mate, there's a big chunk of your CV that's you captaining rugby squads and winning some championships. If we see that you're out there and your hands are like feet, I'm going to be looking pretty closely at the rest of your CV. He went over for a try. I think he actually said he settled it up. He was actually quite good. He really should have been on our team, but good guy. New Zealander he's done well. He's done
fantastic.
Well. It's a good opportunity, mate. I'm going to show one photo before we go.
Go for it.
Into your market report, and yeah, there it is. All right, can you see that?
Yeah. Yep.
That's us.
Fantastic.
That's us. Now that was posted on Instagram. On there, someone was laughing at it, just going, "Why is James in that photo?" So I just happened to be sitting there, and I couldn't when you stuck between those guys, you can't actually move anywhere. It's just like
could the shirts get any tighter?
Who?
The shirts. Like I'm looking at several of those guys.
Thurston's carved out of stone, mate. There's none about it. Robbie's obviously still fit as a hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Delston obviously, I mean, he's an absolute unit. Chris Lawrence, he's back in action. We managed to get the boots off and everything that was there. And there's Sam Ayub as well, the biggest the NRL, entities around the place.
Yep.
And there's little old Jimmy James stuck in the middle trying to keep up with what they're talking about. Anyway,
it's good photo. Good times.
Yeah. That was good. They are good guys, and I'm glad that we've got those sorts of partnerships and relationships around the industry too. So that's it. Which is all for a good cause, the charity that we made, the charitable organisations that these guys are associated with, and also don't forget exactly what we're doing, which is building the wealth of the players. And so the sorts of conversations that you have with these guys are actually genuinely talking about what is troubling them financially, the sort of directions that we could be making, that sort of stuff, right? So just brilliant stuff, which is good. All for the best. Now,
fantastic.
over to Heath Moss with the market report.
Beautiful. Thanks, mate. It's a bit quieter this week, considering everything that happened last week with China and the rally there with Hong Kong and the Chinese markets, although it did continue this week. And China on their Golden Week holiday, so they don't come back till next Tuesday, I think it is. But yeah, I mean, this is the S&P 500 we got up on the screen, as we always do. Start with that. It's been slightly negative this week, down about 0.7%. Nasdaq down about 1%. The XJO today, the 200, having a terrible day today. Down about 1% today, so we're down about 1% for the week now. We were flat, so on the Australian 200, but basically, what is driving markets this week? We really didn't have that much news out. We have China PMIs, which were out on Monday, which were weaker than expected, but any data from China for the next month or two, at least, I think, or maybe even to Christmas, is probably going to be dismissed because of that stimulus package that they've brought out.
Whole new world dealing with China now, for sure.
Good. Eventually, the market's going to want to see results and some turnaround in especially in their property sector and house prices. But any major data coming out until now, between now and Christmas, I think it's just going to be dismissed. It's like, we know it's weak. We know the economy's soft. It's going to take time. So, so they were out. JOLTS openings in the US overnight actually surprisingly came in a lot stronger than expected. 8 million job openings versus the 7.6 they were expecting. ADP jobs came out on Wednesday night, and that was stronger than expected. 143K versus 120K added or expected, and they upgraded the month before as well. I think it went from like 99K to 120K. So, and then services PMI, ISM services PMI was out last night, and that was much stronger than expected in the US. 54.9 versus 51.7 expected, and up from 51.5. So it goes along with that theme that the US economy may be actually accelerating into the end of the year, and that bullish scenario I'm expecting in 25 and 26 maybe, that may be starting already. And as a consequence, we're starting to see yields tick up again. If we go to the 10-year, we just zoom in. You can see here where this is around the cut, and it came down to about 3.6 on the 10-year. It's now back up at 3.84. So I think you're going to get cuts starting to get priced out of the market if data continues to be this strong. And even on the short term, the 2 years, you can see it bottom there around 3.5. It's now 3.77%. So it's starting to turn back up again. I don't think anything major is going to happen here, and I don't have any fears for inflation or a major spike that could cause trouble in equity markets. But I think cuts, we're not going to get the 150 basis points of extra cuts we're expecting between now and I think June or July next year. I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be pared back a bit due to a stronger economy.
I was happy to be long bonds, thinking that longshoreman thing was probably going to, if it was going to last a long time. I think that was underplayed and underestimated just how much of a damage that was going to be doing to the world economy. But looks like it's been solved now with a 62% pay increase. Just has been announced, it's come through.
The port stuff. It's all been resolved. They've suspended their strikes until I think the 15th of January. They said so it gives them time to negotiate. So that had a chance to sort of be a short-term hiccup for markets in terms of jobs figures and maybe inflationary. We do have US jobs figures out tonight, and they're going to be impacted by the hurricanes. And they will be for the next couple of months, I dare say, because apparently there's another one brewing off the coast that could be almost as bad as the one they just had. So right up into the election, we're probably going to get some dodgy data from that, and it's going to be hard to read. So, but it could give the Fed a chance to say, hey, we'll just cut another 50 instead of 25. Who knows? I'm not sure what the pricing is for the next meeting, because that is now, I think it's after the election now? We've had the last meeting before the election. That was in September. I think they don't have an October one. So I think the next one's...
They don't.
After
November.
Yeah, after the election.
And that's it for the year.
Yep.
I believe, yes.
No, isn't there one in December? There's one in December too, isn't there?
They do have a December chat, yes, they do as well.
Yeah. So they got two more chances. I think there's still like 70 basis points of pricing for the rest of the year factored in. So it'll be interesting. What probably one of them's obviously going to have to be another 50 or so. So if the markets to hit that, but obviously the big talking point this week is oil, and what's happening in the Middle East. Israel becoming more aggressive, moving into Lebanon, and looking to wipe out Hezbollah. Iran obviously retaliated the other day with some 200 ballistic missiles.
They're big units too. You don't think about how big a missile is until you see someone standing next to one that didn't explode.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, there's a ton of footage on social media showing you the missiles coming in and half of them being destroyed in the air and whatnot. And I don't think there were many casualties out of it, but it's war. It's terrible. So, but yeah, that's driving the price up because Israel won't concede and won't rule out the possibility of attacking Iran oil infrastructure. Whereas
Biden half confirmed it this morning as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not out of the question for them.
Yep. Which really, I mean, Iran. I saw a chart a little while ago, and they're saying why Iran don't want Biden or the Democrats to leave the administration. They showed since Biden's come in, oil exports and oil production from Iran have just gone through the roof again. They're up to like 1.6 million barrels a day or whatever it was. And obviously they're selling that to other OPEC nations and Russia and China and stuff like that because no one in the West is allowed basically to buy off of them. But they're saying that all that's going to do is just going to force Saudi Arabia's hand, and Saudi Arabia will just push the button and hit their capacity because they've still got about 2.5 to 3 million barrels a day they can flush the market with, and that will send the price back down again. So it's but it's all very short term. Generally, with these conflicts in the Middle East, we see very short term rallies on oil and energy. If you look at natural gas is the same, up to almost $3. I can't remember what they measure that as a BTU.
Yes. British thermal unit.
Yep. So that's had a spike, and that's also because US gas reserves inventories are declining at a much faster rate than expected. They started the year well above their seasonal trends, actually the 5-year trend, and they've come right in. Inventories have come right in. So that is also another reason we've seen a decent rally on the gas there. So that's about it for this week. I mean, there really hasn't been much other news. Nike came out with their profits and they were terrible. They've seen a 10% decline in sales since I think it's the middle of last year. I don't know why, but yeah, I know they were bad. But yeah, it's a real quiet period, and I don't think we're going to get much out of anyone until the election's over, because a lot of people will be sitting on their hands and saying we're not going to make any big decisions till we know who's going to be in the White House.
I'm happy to say that if any chance you get to buy Nike on a big back foot, especially with the new guy who's come in, or sort of the old guy, the new guy, anyway, to tear the place apart, he'll put all the bad news out and make all the bad bad choice that he's got to make.
Yep.
I think that Nike, all other things being equal, based on what happens to stocks usually after that particular time, is a buy, especially if the consumer is still strong and everything is still ticking over.
And they've got a strong China link. They do a lot of sales in China. So if the Chinese economy and the consumer picks up there, obviously more Nike stuff will be sold. Actually, I read an article late last night. There was a major economist in China that has strong links to the PBOC, etc. Was saying, this was a Bloomberg title. I couldn't read it because I'm not subscribed. But I found another sort of summary of it, and they're saying China could use up to 10 trillion yuan of stimulus to help get their economy going, and that's about 1.4 trillion US dollars. So that is almost, I'd say, 8 to 10% of their economy in US dollar terms, which is hefty. And at the moment, depending on who you're talking to, it's anywhere from 2 to 4, 5 trillion yuan currently being used. So they could double that again, apparently, according to this economist. And I think that got resources a little bit excited late yesterday, but they've turned around. But also, sorry, I just forgot to mention the US dollar. US dollar is starting to creep back up again as well.
Wow, I had no idea that it was three soldiers. Four
Yeah.
soldiers.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, that's up over 1% for the week. Again, on the back of yields rising, a bit of safe haven stuff there, obviously, because of the stuff happening in the Middle East, and whatnot. So, and obviously maybe some jitters around the election, because after the vice president's debate, betting has come right in. They're basically neck and neck.
Yeah,
Kamala had the lead, and now that's come right back in because Vance did such a good job.
A week is a long time in this game, as you know, mate. Now I'm getting hassled because people want to do other things in my house
that's fair enough.
Noise on this one. So footy tips.
Yeah,
I got that wrong last week, didn't I?
Gee, yeah, dear. Commiserations to your Swans, but they put in a typical Swannies grand final appearance. But
I was suggesting the other day that the AFL, like, they've got to talk to Sydney and just go, you can't keep doing this, because these are blowout nonsensical grand finals where eventually Swans are going to make it, and it's going to be like you'll see the viewership just go completely down.
Yeah, as soon as Swans make it,
what's the point? You can't send the Swans back to Melbourne. They're going to get thrashed. It's just it's unwatchable. Third quarter,
yeah.
I don't think I even watched the end of it.
And they it was their best chance too, because they're playing a non-Victorian team, totally neutral ground. You could understand the other grand finals, they're playing Victorian teams, and generally it's MCG, they play, dozen or more times there.
Yeah.
So you can understand the advantage then. But after that first quarter, I thought great, we're gonna have a cracking game.
We're gonna have her in for one here, settle in, and everything same as a couple of years ago. You're just like, well, this is going to be an absolute barn burner, and then they just failed a shot for the next three, which is interesting. So I've just been chatting back and forth with Robbie. And you get the pick from one of the greats, one of the all-time greats, Robbie Farah's Spesh. Melbourne Storm for Sunday night for the grand final.
So who are they playing? Is it the Panthers?
They're playing the Panthers, yes.
The Panthers. I'm gonna. I have no idea about rugby. I'm backing the Panthers in because they've done well the last few times. Sorry.
That's mate. Trend is your friend. All right, what have you got?
Yeah.
That's it.
I have. I got my bets wrong last week, but I got my the sentiment right. Brisbane to win, etc. I've just got an NFL bet for the week. Bills, I reckon they'll bounce back and beat Houston away, paying $1.91.
Yeah,
I think Josh Allen can't have another game like he did last week. So, that's my bet.
Okay, that's pretty good.
No worries.
Well, on that note, everyone's knocking on the door. I can hear them marching back and forth outside here. Thank you very much for joining us on the Theory of Thing Investment Podcast. And thank you for all of the help that everyone gave us with all of the charity work that we did on Wednesday, the touch game and the launch and the back jibby challenge that we did. I believe that I passed, but I was unable to really prove myself. Thank you very much, Heath, for joining us on the show too.
All right, thanks, Jimmy, and hope everyone has a good weekend.
Mate, have yourself a good weekend. Stay safe and mark well.